a powerful wildlife photo comes from patience or does it come from skill?
We need both. In South India, to sight a tiger just about 10 years back was almost impossible.
If you're doing safaris, the best time to sight anything in the mornings is right at the...
I have had a couple of mock charge by elephants. On the way back after seeing that, I actually slipped. And had I not found my ground, probably chances are I would have gone down the cliff. The mother covers itself inside the hole and then they build a mud wall with a very small opening. So if anything happens to the father who is outside, then the entire family perishes.
What I do is I set my shutter speed and aperture as 1 because I know what kind of action I'm shooting, so how fast do I need the shutter to be. And I also know what depth of field that I want for the image, and I adjust my light using the ISO. The best way to get a clean shot with a soft or rather blurred background is to...
Welcome to another podcast episode on White Pearl Studios, ladies and gentlemen. We will be entering the forest today. If you're wondering, really? Nah, we'll be sitting in the studio, but I have 2 wildlife photographers and wildlife enthusiasts with me on this show who will take us into the jungles and let us know what it feels like being in the jungle. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Dr.Murali. I'll tell you why he's a doctor. He's a dentist. And his son, Dhruva. Okay, so you guys want to say something? Hi, hello?
Hi.
Hi, yeah.
Okay. All right. This duo are daddy and son, which I've already mentioned. They are both wildlife enthusiasts and wildlife photographers for the last 2 decades. Let's start off with the dad. Is it okay?
Yeah, no problem.
No problem? Okay. So, dad, dentist. How did dentistry and wildlife photography happen? In a nutshell, but then we'll move on to wildlife photography more. So, give us the juice.
Thanks to chikungunya that hit me when I was practicing dentistry, I still am.
Wow.
I couldn't hold or extract teeth, the most basic bread and butter for my profession, and then I was cursing myself for having got into such a situation. It took almost 6 months.
Wow. Okay.
And then I had a friend who said, why don't you go to a jungle? I said, yes, I need a break. And then that's how we went. And we went trekking inside a jungle. I don't know whether it was legal or not. And
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it was legal. Let's not get into trouble.
Yeah, it was. And we took a tribal along and he showed us a lot of things.
Wow.
And
Okay.
my friend suggested I take 2 combi flamps. So I owe my profession or the photography journey to 2 combi flamps and a trek in the jungle.
Wow.
I come back, I did better than most of the guys with whom I went.
Wow.
And thankfully, the chikungunya disappeared. All the cramps
did
and
it?
pains and aches disappeared. And
So
I could do
I'm
better.
actually not a doctor, though. I can't play any more roles than what I play. But do I say that, it does help get your physical fitness back in some way or the other? Was it because you went into the forest and then it just mentally helped you, cope up with your illness?
See, forest is a addiction.
Okay.
As simple as that.
Yes.
You get fresh air, you get greenery everywhere. Then if you're driving in the jungle, you don't know what's going to come the next corner.
Yep.
And there's so much of enthusiasm, anticipation, and if you see something really rare, then your life is done.
Wow.
So it's really an amazing
and
journey.
You just don't see that rare thing with your own eyes, but you also capture it with the lens. That's where I'm going to get to because you're a wildlife photographer as well.
Yeah, that process slowly evolved over time, and
So is it? I'm like just curious. Okay, is it that you become a wildlife photographer first, and then you become an overall wildlife enthusiast, or is it that because you got enthusiastic about how the wildlife is in the forest, and then you took a pair of?
Our journey was more of wildlife first.
Achha.
Then when you're seeing so many beautiful things in the jungle, then we thought, why not capture it?
Achha.
And then when you start capturing, you realize that you don't have enough gear for it, the best of gears. And then
I
it
will come to
keeps
that
going
point.
on.
I will come to the
Keeps
point
going
of
on,
gear.
yeah.
I have exclusive questions because I know a lot of wildlife enthusiasts out there want to know what the gear is all about, right? Because I mean, in music industry, that's what we look into. I walk into any studio, all I see is that wow, what a mixer! Oh wow, what a microphone, right? So I get very comfortable. Okay, I'll pause you for a moment, Dad, but I'm going to get to the son, Dhruva.
Yeah.
So how did this bug of wildlife photography get into you?
So I also owe it to the same 2 tablets of combi flam that he took.
What?
Because if not for him, I don't think I would be here. So as he would go to the forests a lot when I was a very small child, I would get fever or I would get unwell if he wasn't at home.
You know
So
what? I heard the story from you
yeah,
outside. You went into the forest very first time with your dad
yeah,
when you were 1.5 or 2 years old kid.
yeah, exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the first time in history that a 1.5 year old kid accompanied the father, and then the bug got him.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
So I wouldn't be able to stay at home with him not around. So he had no option but to take me with him. Maybe it was me
Destiny?
trying to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Destiny was playing its trick, huh?
Yeah. So I still remember my first time in the wild very well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was around 1.5 years old. My father had to go to Masinagudi, which is after Bandipur in the Tamil Nadu side, which is called Mudumalai. It's a little further into Mudumalai, just about 10 kilometers from the foothills of Ooty. So that he had a dental camp over there for the tribals and forest department. And we had gone. We left late in the night, and we reached around 4 to 5 a.m. I think.
Wow, okay.
And I was still sleeping in the car. So there was an elephant in a water hole nearby.
Okay.
So my father left the car and went to the water hole.
Okay.
And my mother had gone to the room to take bath or something.
Okay. And you wandered
And-
into the jungle.
No, and in that time I ended up waking up.
Uh-oh.
So there was nobody in the car. I started crying.
Now,
And-
it looks very filmy to me. You know why? Because next, if anybody would make a film out of it, they would expect the elephant who was drinking water in the water hole all by itself would have heard you cry, come and try and pick you up and all this stuff. My studio is also reacting to it. So I don't know if that happened. It didn't happen.
No,
right?
it didn't happen.
Okay. I always remember my very first time when I entered a studio or when I went on stage. For me, like how a camera is for wildlife photographers, for us musicians, a mic is something very, very valuable, right? I remember the very first time, the very first feeling that I had when I went on the mic and I said, "Hello, check." It made the world like disappear for me. Now, both of you, what was your first feeling of your actual very first wildlife photograph that you took, and that very first feeling? I mean, if you can narrate what happened, it'll be brilliant. Okay, otherwise, try and go back to that feeling and tell us what it was.
Well, for me, I mean, the most haunting memory, if I can call it that, was that in the same trip where we went to Masinagudi, there's another extreme place where generally people are not allowed. You need a lot of permission. There's this guy called Mark Dravidar. He's no more now.
Okay.
He had a property right next to the jungle.
Acha. Okay.
And he never entertains kids.
Okay.
He never entertains people unless they come with recommendations, and
Acha.
they should be really interested in wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a place where elephants literally used to come close to the property, and there's no way you can go out after dark because you don't know what's next to you.
Okay.
So I go there. That's the first time I'm there, and this guy is in the nearby resort where children are allowed, and there's a much safer place.
Okay.
And I had a video camera.
Okay.
And promptly there is a leopard with 4 cubs.
Wow.
That's one of my first wildlife sightings.
Wow.
And I am recording, assuming that I'm recording, and the entire episode I am capturing or I'm viewing only through the viewfinder of my movie camera.
Wow. What time was it? Was it day?
It's
dark?
evening. It's usually most of the sightings happen early in the morning or late in the.
Do you want to give a specific timing
sunset.
that you've observed, like an average timing?
That would have been
Sunset?
around 5:30 p.m.
Acha. Okay. So 5:30 p.m.s are the
Yeah,
best
that's
sighting
when the
times.
movements
Okay.
happen. The
Acha.
animals and the
Yeah,
birds
yeah.
move either to the nest or
Yeah.
they start going.
Sure.
Predators get into the action
Right,
late
right.
in the evening. They avoid the
Okay.
bright sun and the heat.
One request to both of you is that people would want to know these kind of information, right? Because they would want to know, because somebody watching us could be the the future or the present wildlife enthusiast, so they would want to know these kind of information, right? So as much as possible, if you can give us this kind of juice, it'd be really good. Okay, so go on.
Perfect, yeah. The biggest story is that I've been watching it through the screen, and I had never pressed the start button.
What?
So there was no recording of the entire event.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a memorable event! Very first event,
Right.
Right? Okay.
And that's been the best sighting of me of leopard with 4 cubs. I've never seen them again. I mean, in the sense that I've seen leopards individually, but not with 4 cubs. And all the 4 playful, running around with the mother, taking care of them
Right.
and the whole thing. I then realized towards the end, and then after that, I did press the click button, but I have a very small, very short clip of the entire
But you
show.
still have it.
I say I have it.
Did you ever encounter the very same frame ever in your life again?
No, not really. No.
Wow, that makes it even more special.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Dad's done with his very first experience. What about you, Dhruva?
So when I would accompany him since I was 1.5 years old, but I have good memories from when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old accompanying him.
Okay.
And he got his first camera in 2009, which was when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
And I like his first DSLR. He had a video camera before that, which is where the oops moment happened.
Okay.
And he bought his first DSLR around 2009.
Okay.
And whenever we would go, I would occasionally randomly ask him to give me his camera, and I would take photos of flowers or something.
Was he giving it to you easily?
Maybe like out of, let's say we spend 4 days in the wild, he'll maybe give it to me for 1 or 2 hours.
Oh, I was about to say one day.
So my initially photography was like this, and then I got a very small point and shoot through which I shot a few small,
Okay.
I wouldn't say small subjects, but like its maximum zoom is around 60 mm, so you can't really shoot much wildlife with it.
Okay.
So the experience that I remember the most vividly, I would say, was photographing my first tiger, which was in December 2014.
Okay.
By then he had got a new camera,
Okay.
so I got his old
You
DSLR.
inherited.
Yeah, I
You
inherited
can't
it.
say it old at all because you have to say the legacy camera. came
Yeah,
through. Okay.
right. So that was handed down to me.
Okay.
So this time I was able to. I had my own camera to shoot instead of having that point and shoot, which is just 60 mm. I had a 300 mm lens
Wow, kya
on
baat
top of 1.5 crop because it was an APS-C sensor.
hai. Okay.
So yeah, so this was in December 2014.
Okay.
I had been waiting almost 9 years in the wild before I could see my first tiger.
You never came back to the city? I'm just joking. Because I understand. This is
Right.
one point, ladies and gentlemen, because I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, both of you. In this particular passion, let's say passion, patience is the key, right? Because I've heard a lot of photographers saying they wait tirelessly for, can I say, hours and days and years now, right? To get that one perfect shot.
Yeah.
And it never happens again, because my question was to him for the same thing, right? Did he ever sight those thing again, sight that very first shot that he shot again? See, he says no. So I think it's one in a million years or whatever that frame can come by. So now tell me something. Was it worthwhile?
Definitely.
What was
Well,
the feeling?
So yeah, we shall I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we were. So what had happened is he had waited. He had seen a tiger before that, but I was not there with him,
Okay.
and he had waited almost 10 years, I think, on his own.
Oh, okay.
So he used to do a lot of dental camps in Bandipur. So the forest department knew him really well, knew us really well, because I would accompany him along. Even
Right.
for camps, I would accompany him, simply stay with him when he's doing the. I would actually, I think, take photos of him treating the forest department and tribals. Now that I think of it.
Okay.
So everyone knew me as well. So what had happened is there was this really dominant tiger in Bandipur called Prince.
Okay.
And his prime.
His name was Prince?
His name was Prince.
I think the forest department named him Prince, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or rather, it was, I think, a wildlife photographer that coined him the name Prince.
Okay.
And that caught along with everyone, including the
Acha,
forest
acha,
department.
acha. Okay.
So his prime years were between 2012, 2011 till 2015.
Okay.
And this was December 2014. He had killed a gaur. So he had killed a gaur. And what tigers do is when they kill a big animal like a gaur, or any animal for that matter, and their bodies tend to overheat a lot when they eat.
Oh.
So they eat in small bits
Okay.
and then walk down to a nearby water body
Okay.
and cool off at the water body. So what Prince had done is he had killed his gaur
Okay.
and he was eating it in besides a bush
Okay.
that was right next to the road, Safari Road.
Okay.
And to exactly opposite the Safari Road was a lake.
Oh.
So you're almost guaranteed to see Prince crossing the road and going to the lake at some point in time.
Okay.
So one of the drivers had called my father saying that this sighting is there, you have to come, you'll get really good sightings.
Okay.
So they had left one day before.
Okay.
Now why wasn't I able to join them on day one? I had a fever that was 104.
What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why
So
is it that I'm seeing a pattern now?
so
Well, I had to quit my job of visiting faculty in Chennai just because he would fall sick every time I traveled to Chennai.
Oh, okay, that's another pattern.
That's another story.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Actually, since you're talking about Prince, we put up the photo of Prince. This is what your dad has captured of
Yeah.
Prince, right?
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the shot that Dr. Murali has taken of Prince, the same Prince that Dhruva is explaining about. All right, go ahead.
yeah. So back to the thing. So I was 104 the previous night. So my mom and I stayed back at home, and he went along with a few of his friends.
Okay.
Then he calls us sometime in the evening on day one and explains about the sighting he had. So what happened is they're parked in the middle of the road. Prince crosses them like very close to their jeep, so they get that head-on shot.
Okay.
And then he crosses into the water body, stays in the water for some time, and then starts giving an acrobatic show by the side of the lake.
What are you saying?
So he rolled around.
How much was the ticket, by the way? No. Did he charge you guys for doing the show? No. Okay.
No,
Go
I mean,
ahead.
It was the patience that helped us to get all these shots.
Yeah.
It's okay. Go ahead.
so he rolled around. He, he had fun, and we could see him
have fun.
have fun.
Wow, it's
So-
such an amazing feeling. Right?
Yeah.
Just to watch those predators. I can't call them predators, but those wild animals.
Exactly.
For us, people who live in the city, and we hardly see them. First of all, in the
Yeah.
city, right? We always see domesticated animals here, but then the wild animals and them having fun with their freedom, because I think freedom is the key, right? That's
Exactly.
when they live in the forest in their own terms, and then he's also called Prince,
Yeah.
rightly. So I think all you wildlife enthusiasts were, I think, lucky that day for having to see Prince in his best elements, right?
Exactly.
Okay, what a wonderful explanation. All right.
So
Now, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So that was the end of day one, and then I had massive FOMO.
Okay.
One of my dad's friends who lived in Chennai
Mm-hmm.
also had the same FOMO. So he left Chennai on the night of day one, which was I think 8th December.
Okay.
He picked us up from home at around 3 a.m. on 9th December.
Okay.
And so Bandipur, the gates open at 6 and the safari also starts at 6:15.
Okay.
So you need to make sure you're there at the safari point by 6:15 or else you're missing the morning safari.
Okay.
And this is another point to note.
Okay.
If you're doing safaris, the best time to sight anything in the mornings is right at the break of dawn. So around 6 to 7 to 8 a.m.
Okay.
And then after that, if your safari is long, so let's say if you're in central India and your safaris, morning safaris go on till 10, 11, then you have another window of opportunity between 10 to 11 a.m. Because the temperature heats up so much that the animals want to, stay somewhere cool, which is they either go into the bush or they stand by near lakes. In central India, at least in Maharashtra, so you have the Maharashtra side of Pench, you have Thadoba, you have Umred, Kondapur. All of those forests don't have that much bush in the summers as compared to our South Indian forests. So tigers, and not just tigers, almost every mammal will be found near water bodies.
Acha.
So, and safaris there go on from around 6 a.m. till around 10 to 11 a.m.
Okay.
So again, between 10 to 11, you have another chance of sighting them at water bodies. Anyways, now back to the story without getting. So we reached Bandipur at around 6.
Okay.
Went to the morning safari, and we went. Our first safari was on a bus because I think we didn't reach in time to be able to get a jeep. So my dad was there. Everyone were there in the bus. My mom and the few friends that came from Chennai, as long as other people that were there already. Nobody saw. So Bandipur has 2 slots. One slot from 6 to 8, and so one slot from 6 to 7:30, and another slot from 7:30 to 9.
Okay.
So this was the 6 to 7:30 safari. Everyone waited where Prince had his kill because he's bound to come out at some point in time.
Okay.
He didn't come out till
What?
7:30, and
He knew the timings, I think. Somewhere, yeah.
Exactly.
They do,
Yeah.
right?
actually,
Okay.
yeah, and everyone expected a sighting there because he had been giving a consistent sighting the last 2 days at around that time. He didn't come out, so I was disappointed. I'm like, I have cold. I took a leave from school. I came all the way here, and now golden opportunity to see a tiger. Now also I don't see a tiger. Am I destined not to see a tiger? All those thoughts were playing in my head.
Okay.
But then we came back. We decided to do another round, this time on a gypsy.
Okay.
Again, we go to the same place. We wait. It's almost 8:45 now.
Okay.
There's still no sign of the tiger. Again, let's say there were about 10 vehicles there at the start of the second slot.
Okay.
Only 2 were left. One was us, and one was another jeep that probably had a day package because they had a huge camera and it looked like they were shooting some documentary.
Right.
So around 8:45 to 8:50 is when you're forced to leave because you have to exit the park by around 9.
Okay.
It's not sharp 9. You can be 10 minutes late, but not more than that.
Okay.
So right as that happens, so let's say this is the road,
Okay.
this is the pond, and that is where the kill is.
Okay.
There's another 4-road junction a little further ahead, and another road further ahead over there.
Okay.
Suddenly, our guide shouts, "Tiger!"
Okay.
We think it's Prince. It's
Okay.
not Prince.
Okay.
It's another tigress that just ran across that part of the road.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So my first tiger, I thought my first tiger would be Prince.
Prince.
Everyone assumed it would be Prince, but no, it was a random tigress that just ran
a
across over
princess.
there. Probably a princess.
You're
Yeah.
destined to see a princess.
Exactly.
Prince.
And then
Okay.
about 5 minutes after that,
Mm-hmm.
the bush where Prince was,
Hiding.
his prey started rattling.
Ah,
And that's when everyone thought, okay, this is it. This is when it happens.
right.
And another 2-3 minutes later, there's a sound, almost like not a roar, but there is some sound that is coming from within.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see him come out.
Wow.
So I extend my lens, put the viewfinder to my eye, and I'm ready. I focus and I'm ready to click. I'm not clicking. I'm just awed at the majesty of this sighting, that I'm just appreciating him through the viewfinder. Kind of like how
What
he
he's saying, he was like, see, he did the same thing. He was like, he
Exactly.
forgot. He was so lost in the moment. He forgot to hit the record button.
And then
Don't tell me you didn't.
no. So thankfully, the new camera he had had a really fast shutter,
Okay.
and it was also around, it would shoot around 7 frames per second.
Okay.
So this it's almost a meme now, like how when wildlife photographers shoot, the cameras make one tuck 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 sound, right? Like that is
Yeah.
probably even more loud than than the animal in itself most of the time.
Okay.
So me hearing that sound kind of prompted something. Wait, you should shoot also. So then I started taking a few pics, and then I got one. And again, this was me being, let's say I'm here.
Okay.
Prince was walking somewhere about, I'd say,
2 feet.
2 feet in front of me.
You kidding me?
Yeah. And then he looked at us in the Jeep and then went. So I had a 70 to 300 lens.
Wow.
70 wasn't enough to get his full body.
Oh, so you go again, Prince will say, hey, you're the guy, no? Forgot to shoot me. That moment
Yeah.
is going to happen. Wow, what a terrific moment it should have been. Because I think these are some of the moments that wildlife photographers literally wait for an entire lifetime sometimes to get it. And then you were blessed by Prince, who showed up at the right time and
Correct.
then made a moment for your lifetime. Right?
Yeah.
Wow, what an experience. Okay, before I get into the jungle deeper, okay, I would want you to explain to the audience what your speciality is, because I know a lot of people shoot different animals and part of the forest and stuff, and also what gear you use, because that's something that even the audience wants to know. So let's start with that.
Well, I had to go back to a little bit of a history where the so-called professional photographers of today are way too pampered with the kind of gear that is available.
Right.
The digital photography has made things very easy.
Mhm.
Anybody and everybody can become a photographer.
Yeah.
If you have the right kind of
Yeah.
lens or whatever, everything else can be altered as per the requirements in a studio or in front of a screen. I happened to listen to one very famous photographer of the earlier era when we had the 35mm film, and his name is Professor Perumal. I think he's no more now.
Okay.
And he used to say, if you have to go capture a animal or a bird in the wild, we go there, camp, first see where the bird, let's say it's a bird, let's see where it comes, at what time of the day it comes. So they are in the jungle for an entire day observing
Wow.
the movement
Okay.
of the bird.
So you need to learn about the habitat as well. So
habitat,
their habitat.
and then where it's going to perch.
Oh, wow.
Based
Okay.
on that, they have to set their gear so that they get proper lighting on the bird.
Oh, okay.
And it all depends on the time also. Sunset, sunrise, the
Right.
direction changes.
Right.
And then they set up the gear and wait and wait and wait. If it doesn't come on that particular day, the entire day is gone.
Okay.
And then they go back again, set up the gear and wait for the next day.
Mhm.
And then they are limited by the number of shoots. So you get maximum 36 frames.
Wow.
That's all you can shoot.
Right.
And then you have to take it back to wherever you came from, process it, and only then you know what's happened. Whether you got the
that was
film,
tough.
the proper photograph or not, whether the
Yeah.
focus was on.
Yeah.
And those days, the focusing was manual.
Manual.
There was no autofocus.
So it's just one shot.
It's
you get.
one shot and one time, and they had to spend so much time just for one bird or one animal.
Wow.
Whereas now you see anything, you click 100 frames in maybe a few seconds,
Just tuck, tuck,
and
tuck.
they are tuck, 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 and then it's gone. And you have all kinds of actions, everything that is can be
Right.
recorded.
Right.
And then you are able to see it right now, right there.
Right.
And then if you have some of the places now in Bandipur, most places you have network.
Right.
And you can even forward it to your friend or somebody who is in the city and share that I'm right in front
Wow.
of this animal right now.
Wow.
So, I mean, there is a huge difference between a professional photographer of
Okay,
those
okay.
days and the present day
Okay.
wannabe photographers where everybody can shoot a reasonably good picture.
So
And,
let me ask you the question again.
Right.
It's been about 2 decades now. You've been
Yeah, it's
a
been 2
wildlife
decades,
enthusiast. Okay.
exactly. Mhm.
So right from back then to now, you have evolved as a wildlife enthusiast and a photographer. Can I say that you've evolved over the years?
Evolved, and now I'm slowing down. Dhruva has taken over, so I gave up SLR, and now I have a point and shoot, but at a huge range.
Yeah, that's what I
It
want to
can
know.
go
So
up
if I
to-
see Dr. Murali in the jungle, what gear will I find and whom will he be shooting? I'm saying camera shooting.
Yeah, I mean, the interest in wildlife is very much there, but I kind of gave up on carrying a huge gear, which is at least 5 to 6 kilos and
Got it.
more. And
So now you're doing a point and shoot with a
point
with a
and
good
shoot
lens.
with a 2000 mm.
Wow. And you're
distance,
primarily
yeah.
shooting birds, animals?
Everything.
Everything. So you don't
We
specialize?
have evolved now from, it started with animals.
Mhm.
Mainly,
Mammals, everything is an animal.
yeah, animals, yeah. Initially, elephants used to get us excited. Then Dhruva at one point and said, oh, elephant means it's like a deer. No, he would never even bother to get up and look at it. So then we wanted to see a
Okay.
tiger. It took us 10 years to see a tiger.
Wow.
Then leopard, of course. Leopards are again more difficult to spot in the jungle because they're experts at
Camouflage, yeah.
And once that euphoria is over, now we are able to focus on the other smaller things that the jungles are able to offer. We have lots of lizards, we have butterflies, we have all kinds of insects, and now Dhruva has especially gotten into snakes and
I'm going to ask him then. I'm
Yeah.
going to
frogs and
Yeah, Dhruva,
stuff.
so what do you specialize now as a wildlife
Yeah.
photographer and enthusiast now? Come on.
So I primarily shoot birds and herbs. So herbs are a small short term for herptiles, which includes reptiles and amphibians.
I was thinking broccoli.
Yeah. So that's what I primarily shoot.
Okay.
And I also go to shoot mammals and everything.
I heard you,
but
you shoot snakes.
yeah,
also.
exactly.
Yeah.
Reptiles.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My
So
bad.
no, that's fine. So yeah, that's what I primarily do now.
What's your gear?
I shoot with a Canon 70
Mhm.
and a 100 to 400 lens.
Okay.
And for macro, I use either an 1855 or a 100 mm macro to shoot snakes, frogs, insects, everything. Butterflies, most of the time I end up shooting with my telephoto lens itself because it's so you don't need macro focus for butterflies because you can't go that close. They'll fly away by then.
Right.
So it's better to have a higher focal length and shoot from back
Mhm.
so that one, you don't disturb the butterfly.
Right.
And also you're able to get a good shot because of the compression at higher focal length.
Wow. Okay.
So you get a similar field of view to what you would be getting with a macro without having the risk of, disturbing the butterfly or letting it fly away from that perfect perch.
Wow. Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the gear they use and that's what they specialize in. And let's move on. My question is that what's the most challenging photograph that you have ever shot in the last 20 years? I know it's difficult.
Yeah,
It's-
it's a challenge. Maybe I'll,
Yeah,
I'll
why
go
not?
after Dhruva.
Dhruva.
He has
Yeah,
recent
what-
challenges. I've had one old, very interesting
Right.
challenge.
Go ahead, Dhruva.
So I wouldn't see, it's really hard to think of what might have been the most challenging photo that I've taken.
Okay.
But I'll probably think of one experience or other shooting one genera of frog, which is challenging in its own.
Okay.
So the genera is called, the scientific name is called Micrasalis.
Okay.
In English, it's a dancing frog.
Oh.
So why are they called? Okay, first of all, they're this tiny,
Okay.
and they're called dancing frogs because they show some. So they're mainly found in torrents, streams. So because of that, they can't vocalize like other frogs. So other frogs vocalize in damp, moist environments or dry environments where the sound they make by extending their vocal sac can go far. But when you're a dancing frog in a stream, the sound of the water is going to trump the sound of a call any frog can make, especially when you're this tiny.
Yeah.
So what these guys have evolved is they do something called foot flagging. Where they, so if this is the frog, these are its front limbs, these are its hind limbs. They kind of extend their hind limb like this,
Wow.
almost like a ballet,
Wow.
right? So that's what gives them the name dancing frogs.
I was going to ask because
Yeah.
for a second my lame brain was trying to ask.
Those are males trying to impress the
The
females.
females, yeah. That's why frogs vocalize to,
Do they work on humans as well? No.
I don't know.
You also tried the.
I've not tried.
Okay, better
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is, it's so first of all, spotting them is challenging.
Mhm.
But once you know what to look for and how to look for it, you can spot
You
them.
find them only in jungles, or do you find them in the city?
In
By any
you,
chance?
you no chance of city.
Nothing in city.
They are
Okay.
very very restricted and endemic to the torrential streams
Okay.
of tropical rainforests.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you find similar species even in South America,
Okay.
but the ones we have in India, or at least in the Western Ghats of India, are endemic to only the, and not just only the Western Ghats.
Okay.
There are multiple species that are endemic to certain sub-habitats or sub-regions in the Western Ghats.
Okay. Okay.
So the
When
most
did you spot yours?
I spotted my first one in 2022 around July, so around this time,
Which
3 years
area?
back.
Which geographical
near
area?
Agumbe.
Agumbe. Okay.
Yeah, so that species is Microsalus kottigeharensis, which is Kottigehara dancing frog,
Wow.
named after Kottigehara, which is near Chikmagalur, near Bhadra Tiger Reserve.
Okay. So that's
Right.
basically the place where you can actually spot them. So
Yeah,
I
that's-
go today there and I can actually find the frog dancing.
That's true for this frog,
Okay.
but most of the times when any frog or snake or, for instance, any animal, but it's more specific to reptiles and amphibians because their ranges are really small. So a bird
okay.
that can be named after Wayanad can also be found in Coorg.
Okay.
But a frog that is named after Wayanad may not even be found in Wayanad.
Oh. Okay. I'll try to wrap my
Yeah,
head around it.
right.
All right. While I wrap my head
Yeah.
around it, I'm going to ask you one more question. Jungle itself is a challenge on its own. Most people who live in the city, we have no clue as to how to even put our first step into the jungle, if I'm correct, right? And it needs a lot of preparation. It needs a lot of, can I say, guts. It needs a lot of different mindset, if I can call it, because we are used to stepping into metro, we're stepping into malls, we're stepping into theaters, right? But there it's a different ball game. Now, how do you prepare to shoot in an environment like that? Is there a special preparation that is needed, or what do you think about it? I mean, just give it in a brief so that somebody who's ready to go into the jungle, I am ready, somebody wants to take me, but then we have to prepare. So what's it? What does it take?
Okay, very basic things.
Mm-hmm.
Never wear flashy clothes, colorful clothes in the jungle.
Mhm,
As
mhm.
simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to blend into the jungle
Okay.
because the animals are very sensitive to color, and if you're wearing a flashy yellow or a bright green or
Uh-huh.
fluorescent kind of a blue,
Mhm,
something
mhm.
like that, it does affect the animals.
Okay. Do they get
And,
scared? What does it do to the animals? So we'll know that we shouldn't.
They sight you much earlier. They get to know the sounds and smell and everything, and of course, no perfume.
Oh, no perfume. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they get the smell and the sight and the sound, everything, because the vibrations and other things are able to pick up much faster.
Wow. Okay.
And chances are you won't see anything.
They run away. Mm-hmm.
So that is with the color.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the smell, yes, they are very sensitive.
Okay.
Uh,
So
animals-
how far can they actually spot a human? Let's say tigers or lions or some elephants maybe. Any idea?
I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know the distance per se, but then
Mhm.
it all depends on the wind direction and other things.
Right.
And
Okay, lot of
the
possibilities.
elephants have a very strong sense of smell. So
that's
their
what I
trunks
wondered.
are used for the smell, and as a result for us, which is thankfully we are never used and we don't want to use ever again. Pepper spray is one of the most important defense tool to have.
Okay.
If you are alone in a jungle or you're trekking or something, I wouldn't recommend this for anybody to carry just because they're going to a jungle.
Right.
Yeah. So, the other interesting thing about the pepper spray is, if at all you're going to use it as a self-defense, you should spray it at the level of its trunk and not its face or the eyes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the moment it gets to the smell of chili or something, the pepper spray, that's when they try to retract or something like that.
Oh, they retract, but they do not retaliate, is it? Oh, how?
Most of
any-
the times,
any encounter like that has happened?
we have had a couple of mock charge by elephants.
Okay.
We are more scared of elephants in the jungle than maybe a tiger or a leopard, because
Definitely.
the elephants tend
Yeah.
to attack, and when they have a young one in the group,
Right.
they are very, very,
Very protective
protective,
about it.
and Z category protection is given to the young ones.
Of
So
course,
where
why not?
it's the entire herd is covering up
Yeah.
the young one, and
We've
if
seen
they-
a lot of these shots that are around
Right.
on social media where the
Yeah.
elephant is literally. I mean, people think they've gone crazy in the attacking, but in hindsight, they're actually protecting their young ones like how
Exactly.
we do. So I think it's no harm, but we see a lot of, I mean, of course, out of context sometimes, they only show the elephant attacking a car or something, but they do not show the other
most
things.
of the time it gets agitated because of the movement. And flashlight is something absolutely no in the jungle.
Okay, no bright clothes, no flashlights, no perfumes then?
No perfumes. And try to be quiet. I think the biggest challenge for us Indians, we are always talkative and loud and everything is to be quiet.
Yeah.
And unless you are quiet in the jungle, you are going to miss a lot of things.
Okay. You want to add Dhruva to that list?
So those are the bare essentials that you need for a safari. Now, let's say you're trekking to spot birds or even trekking to spot other lesser fauna.
Right.
Lesser fauna includes everything: insects, reptiles, amphibians, and all of that. So you need to keep a few other things in mind. First is you need good shoes. No, you obviously need grip, but more than grip, you need shoes to protect you from. Let's say this is a very small chance. Most snakes don't want to come and bite you. But let's say you're unaware and you step on a snake, and that snake happens to be one of the 4 big venomous snakes in India.
Okay, give it up. Do you know the 4?
Yeah. So the 4 venomous snakes in India are a spectacle cobra, which is very common.
Okay.
I mean, very common as in most people know about it. It has that mark on its the back of its head.
Okay.
And then common crate, which is black and has white bands.
Okay.
But this is commonly mistaken with another non-venomous snake, which is a wolf snake.
Okay.
So how do you set a crate apart from a wolf snake? An adult crate is very easy because they're really long and really girthy. Whereas a juvenile crate and a juvenile wolf snake look kind of similar.
Okay.
So first you need to look for double banding, which is there in the Indian crate. That is not there in wolf snakes. Wolf snakes only have single banding. And the other thing is, if you're able to look at it closely, crates have hexagonal scales along their dorsal side, or rather along their spine, in common terms. Whereas wolf snake do not have any hexagonal scales.
Okay.
And the other thing to look at is the head. But again, when you're looking at it from far, you're not going to be able to notice the snake scales or the pattern on the head. So the best thing to do is observe the patterns of the bands and see if they are banded or they are solid.
Okay.
Regardless, if you see a snake that looks like a crate, even if it's a wolf snake, don't be stupid. Don't go try to hold it. Don't go try to stamp it.
Yeah.
Just give it some distance and it'll go away on its own.
Right.
The more if you think that you see a snake, it could kill you, or you go to kill it, is when it's going to bite most of the time. You leave it alone. So if I find something, and let's say I'm a normal person and I find a snake and I'm scared of it, if I leave it alone, it's going to leave me alone.
Oh.
Only if I go to do something to it, there's a chance that it'll do something to me, and that's also the probability is low, because a snake will always try to flight rather than fight. Since you are much bigger than it and it sees you as a threat, even if it bites you, let's say it thinks snakes will not think of you as prey, but let's assume they do. Even if they bite you, you're too big for them to eat, because they don't chew like other animals. They swallow whole.
Yeah.
No snake in the world, including anacondas, can swallow a human whole.
So what they show on TVs is...
Yeah.
After so many years, ladies and gentlemen, I just realized that anacondas
Can't swallow you. It's your shoulders. They can't.
So one more thing is, never touch a snake. Be it in the wild, be it inside the city.
Yeah.
Don't show your bravery there. It's not going to work.
And just give it space. It's going to go. It's not going to do anything to you. Snakes don't want to come and bite you because there's no use.
Correct.
Yeah.
They don't want to waste their venom because that's used for their prey. So
Correct. Very
unnecessarily
intelligent snakes. You be intelligent as well. Do not touch a snake, no matter what it is.
Exactly.
But Dhruva, at the moment, you know what? I want to ask my production team to touch Dhruva's microphone, because I think you're running out of batteries. Can someone change the batteries for me? We take a break.
So you need shoes. So in case you don't notice a snake and it happens to be venomous, the only time when snakes accidentally bite you is when you accidentally step on them by not being aware or by not looking enough into your...
Right.
And that's fine, because most snakes are really well camouflaged. So you can't expect someone that doesn't know how these snakes look, or someone that isn't looking for these snakes, to be able to spot them all the time when they're in their path. So for that small chance that you do step on a venomous snake, you need a good shoe that has some good padding, so that in case it bites, it doesn't penetrate into your skin. It's always better to still immediately seek medical attention to be safe. But rather than, walking barefoot or walking in chappals or walking in Crocs, it's better to take a good pair of shoes into the forest.
So chappals and Crocs, all those footwear are a complete no.
I wear Crocs for herping. But generally it's not recommended.
Not recommended.
So if you're in an unknown territory, better to wear gumboots when you're expecting snakes.
Gumboots or at least good trekking shoes.
So gumboots save you from the snake bite, ideally, right?
Ideally.
Right. Okay.
And along with that, So let's say now a lot of people from the cities like to go trekking.
Right.
But while trekking, they encounter a lot of leeches.
Right.
There are two ways to handle leeches.
Okay.
One way is an absolute no-no.
Okay.
So you go, and I'm not just talking about regular trekkers. This applies to everyone, including people that go
Okay. Mhm.
to the forest for photography as well.
Mhm.
You either let the leech bite,
Okay.
or you do something to get rid of the leeches when you find them on your skin.
Okay.
I generally just let the leech bite and go because I don't mind.
I heard that.
But
You let it suck
Yeah.
your blood and then.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But now if you want to make it go away, there are again a few ways you can do it. What you should absolutely not do is use stuff like Dettol,
Okay.
use any synthetic substance,
Okay.
or use something like a hand sanitizer or a perfume or something to let it go.
Okay.
It definitely works, yes,
Okay.
but you're already walking in a fragile ecosystem. Why do I say fragile? Because it's already been fragmented by what we have done to the forests.
Okay.
And now you introduce a foreign chemical into the forest,
Okay.
that will definitely work on the leech,
Okay.
but it's going to find a way to seep into streams.
Wow.
And not just streams, it's also going to seep into the food of all the other animals that live on the floor level. And that is toxic for them.
Okay.
So you lose, you don't just lose the wildlife that stumbles upon it on the path, you also lose everything that if it happens to go into a stream.
Right.
It's toxic for whatever, until it gets diluted with the stream water, it becomes toxic there again.
Wow.
So the best thing to do is to use something natural.
Okay.
The simplest thing is to carry a little bit of salt.
Oh.
If you can't do that, I mean, if salt is not possible, you can even just get a separate bottle, put some salt in the bottle and keep the bottle in your pocket. It can be a this small bottle about this size.
Okay.
And you can just pour that water over the leech.
Okay.
The amount of salt is going to make it, the process is called osmosis.
Okay.
So that salt is going to make it impossible for it to suck your blood,
Okay.
and is going to detach on its own.
Oh.
So instead of the inconvenience of carrying fresh solid salt, you can also just do that
Salt
salt
water.
water solution, and that's also going to work.
Wow.
You can also use the wick of matchsticks and all of that, but salt is the most
Safest.
reliable and safest solution.
And it doesn't kill the
And
leech.
Yeah,
leech as well,
it doesn't
right?
kill the. I mean, if you use coarse salt, it will kill the leech. But if you use salt water, it's not going to kill the leech.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is quite a bit of info. And now my next question is, let's go into the segment that I have. It's basically stories from the wild. I know all these that you've been saying, all these subjects that you're talking about are related to the wild, because this podcast is all about wildlife and, these photographers, amazing wildlife photographers here. Now tell me, can you share a moment in the wild that completely took your breath away? And is there anything that you had to wait for? Like, I know you spoke about the tigers in the beginning. You had to wait for 10 years, 9 years. You had to wait for a really long time to get it. And you were like, no matter what happens in this lifetime, I want it. Any moment?
I would say yes. We've been looking for the great Indian hornbill. That's
Okay.
again a very almost an endangered species, but now it's trying to revive itself,
Okay.
thanks to a lot of conservation efforts.
Mm-hmm.
In the south, probably that's one of the biggest birds that you will come across, which is rare, and they are found only in dense jungles.
Acha. So we find them in Karnataka as well?
Yeah.
We do find them in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala.
Okay.
So all the three,
ahead.
I think, and deep jungles.
Deep jungles, okay.
Because they live around very huge trees, which are there only in deep jungles, like parts of deep interior Western Ghats. And they need a hole in the tree
Okay.
to nest, and
Acha.
the mother covers itself inside the hole, and then they build a mud wall with a very small
Wow.
opening,
Okay.
and the father is the one that needs to feed the young ones as well as the mother until they are big enough to fly out on their own. So if anything happens to the father who is outside, then the entire family perishes,
Perishes, like how?
because there's no food. They are
Yeah.
stuck inside the tree trunk.
Ooh, wow.
So that's a very, I mean, all the hornbills, that's how they breed.
Nature at its best. Huh?
Yeah, nature at its best. And we've been looking for one, and we were in a deep, inside a tea estate once.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And it was a deep kind of a valley, and we just happened to be walking there, and then we saw the sounds. It has a very characteristic flapping sound of the wings.
Oh.
It's really loud, and they are also loud when they make a sound or whatever it is.
Okay. Okay.
So we heard the sound, so we went to the edge of the cliff, and we were able to see a pair of hornbills sitting on a dry branch. Otherwise, clicking them when there's full foliage of greenery is impossible.
Okay.
And that's one of the best shots I got. And then on the way back, after seeing that, I actually slipped. And had I not found my ground, probably chances are I would have gone down the cliff.
What all it takes to shoot.
That's the I think the closest I've come to encountering.
It's always a give and
difficulty.
take, right? In the wild, especially, right? And top it all, you don't know what is going to be at stake.
Yeah.
So this is one of the best. What was yours?
So there's this bird called Malabar trogon. It's a very colorful bird that, it's one of the poster birds of the Western Ghats.
Okay.
Like it's
Nice.
got a nice deep red belly,
Okay.
a black, and there's a white collar at the neck.
Okay.
Then there's a black head with some metallic blue eye. Like not the eyes are black,
Wow.
but around the eye there's some metallic blue covering, and then there's a metallic blue beak,
Okay.
and then the bottom of tail is white. So if you look at it from the front, it's black, white, red, white again.
What?
And
Okay.
then the back of it is it's a nice orange along with a little grey.
Okay.
So it's a really colorful bird.
Okay.
And there's another bird, to add context to the story, there's another bird called a racket-tailed drongo. You would have seen a drongo many times. It's like the thing that most people think are a crow that's sitting on top of a cow or a cattle. That's actually, that has a forked tail kind of like this.
Okay.
That's actually a drongo, not a crow.
Oh.
So racket-tailed drongo is another species of drongo that's found only in the forests.
Okay.
This is not, it is, what do you say? It's not endemic to the Western Ghats, but it's much more common around forests
Okay.
like the Western Ghats.
Oh.
So there are regular drongo that has some hair or rather feathers near the beak, a crest at the top of its head, and a really long tail that splits down into two small wire-like things, and then at the bottom is a wide feather like this. So it kind of looks like two rackets at the bottom of its forked tail. So
the
now,
one.
yeah,
That's the one you have shot.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So that's a rare bird in itself. Like it's not a rare bird in itself, but it's a really nice bird to take a photo of. And it's not that by rare I mean it's not easy to get a good photo because they're always high up in the canopy or they're somewhere deep inside. So they're either too far away or too high up, so you won't be able to get a good photo of it. That's another bird we'd been trying to get a good photo of. This was the story I'm talking about is 2013 now.
Okay.
So we had gone this was in Banavasi, which is near Sirsi. We had gone to a viewpoint called Jain Kal Gudda. That is towards the north.
Okay.
Now, towards the north, as in towards the north of Banavasi, almost like halfway between Dandeli and Sirsi. So on the way back, that time I didn't have my own camera. He had his old camera, which then became my camera, the one that I shot prints with.
Okay.
Anyways, so I decided to take the camera and set it up to take a few photos of my grandparents and parents in the viewpoint, like not landscapes, but portraits along with a little bit of landscapes as well. Now, that time I didn't know what I was doing really well because I hadn't learned how to use a camera properly. He would just tell me a few settings, I would just copy paste that. I wouldn't have learned how to use it.
Okay.
So apparently I changed something and gave it back to him. Now we're returning back to Banavasi in our car, and on the left there's this Malabar trogon sitting here and a racket-tailed drongo sitting a little there.
Okay.
So both are in the open with a nice distant background. And again, that's another tip for everyone watching. If you want these really clean shots of birds, not just birds, any subject for that matter, the best way to get a clean shot with a soft or rather blurred background is to either make sure you're shooting really. So it's a distance game. You need to make sure you're either shooting really close to the bird so that even though the background might be close to the bird, you're relatively much closer to the bird than you are to the background.
Okay.
So that blows the background out. Or you have to shoot the bird when it's relatively, like I wouldn't say far away. When a bird is far away, you're never going to get a clean shot.
Okay.
So when the bird is about mid distance, so maybe around maximum 1 meter away, and the background is really far away, like probably 4 or 5 meters away, that's another point where you can get a clean shot. Again, this is very crude. There are a lot of camera settings and also there are a lot of different lenses that enable you to get a softer background at different conditions that are slightly easier conditions. But this is the crux of it. So both of them were sitting in the open and the background was far away. So we got really good shots of both. But his camera, when he was shooting, because I didn't have a camera that time, his camera was not focusing. And by the time he focused, both of them flew away.
Courtesy you again.
Yeah.
Rather the drongo chased the
Trogan
away.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we lost both the pictures.
I think they had come
So-
to a coffee shop. Put in all definition, they were sitting and having a meeting. And then they realized
Right.
you guys are shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. What a moment.
So that was and he kept cursing me for changing some setting, which
Of
is why
course
he
he
couldn't
will.
shoot and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was our first sighting of the Trogan. Our second sighting came in 2017.
Okay.
This was in Dandeli,
Mhm.
where this was almost fourth day or third day of our trip. Towards the end, we had just gone out on a drive before leaving back to Bangalore. So we took a road that we generally don't take, and then I immediately heard the call of a Trogan.
Okay.
This is another way you spot a lot of birds. You try to understand their
I
vocalization.
was about to say, because
Yeah.
I thought, when you said I heard the call of the thing, I was thinking the Trogan was saying, hey, Dhruva, hi, I'm here. Now, you want to tell
Yeah.
people, do you want to define how they have that call?
Yeah, so again, I'm not very good at mimicking its
It's not
vocalization,
about mimicking,
but yeah,
you can describe it maybe.
it's something like whoop, 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 like that. About 7 to 8 reps of that small whoop. It's not a whoop; it's more like it's a whistle, like something like that.
Oh.
And that's its regular call. So that happens multiple times over. And if you hear, there are also birds that have similar calls. So you also need to know the amount of times it reps. And that's when you know it's a Trogan, for instance. And
Wow.
this is one of
So
the
every
best
species
Yeah.
of birds have their own.
own call. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
this is one of the best ways to know where birds are, at least in the rainforest, because it's really thick. But if you know their vocalization, you'll know that it's somewhere nearby. And you can either, if the path is accessible, you can walk towards where they're calling from, or just wait and hope they come towards you.
Okay.
And this is again where clothing is important, because the more you blend in, the harder it is for the bird to immediately notice you. And Trogans especially are really shy. So the moment they find out that there is, something, it doesn't have to be a human, it can also be another mammal, they tend to go away from that place.
Acha.
So thankfully we heard the call, we waited, and then we got the male, that was a male Trogan, came close by. We were able to get a few good shots, but nothing amazing, because again the Trogan was probably this like quite high up,
Okay.
and we were down, and you can never get a good shot when the bird is high up and you are down,
Yeah.
because
You
again,
have to be at an elevation
Yeah.
to get it. Okay.
right, and
Sounds good.
this was 2017.
Okay.
So we didn't get that many good shots. Now
I just want to jet in here.
Hmm?
And our journey of birds started with this small book worth all of 10 rupees.
Wow.
And this was published by the Department of Forests, Mudumalai Forest Range, which is
Okay,
part of
okay.
the Nilgiris Biosphere.
Mhm.
And this was presented to Dhruva by one of our cousins who were also into wildlife and other things.
okay.
And this, I just kept it in the back seat or the glove compartment of the car.
Okay.
And Dhruva used to pick it up and started reading.
Oh. Okay.
So until then, we were never into birds as such.
Oh, okay.
Because sighting a bird was a big challenge,
Mhm.
and getting a picture of it is almost impossible.
Right.
So, and suddenly, after a few weeks or something, he started calling out names from the books.
What?
Whenever he used to sight a bird. That's how our journey of birding started. Otherwise, we
Wow.
were never into birds. We were only into mammals, and
We will-
especially
we-
tiger and
we
this
will-
thing.
we will put this book up for you to have a look at it. But this is the legendary book that I have, ladies and gentlemen, in my hand, which actually sparked off both their journeys into bird shooting.
Birds, yeah.
Yeah,
right,
this is
right. So-
amazing. So, thank you to this pocket guidebook.
Yeah.
Right. So this happened, and Mudumalai is a very renowned forest area. Right?
Yeah.
So it's been there, and literally everybody knows the name.
yeah,
Mudumalai
it was
Forest.
part of the first biosphere reserve in India, the Nilgiri Biosphere.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
what a way. They made it into the history books with this one, I can say. All right, good one. All right,
Yeah.
let me get into the next question. Okay.
Right.
What is the rarest of species or animal, let's say animals, right, that you have ever captured through your lens? Okay. And how did that come about?
You can go ahead.
Rarest. You think this is like I've never
Yeah.
encountered.
I think as far as mammals go, I would say, I would still say a tiger.
Okay.
Now the tiger populations have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in South India, to sight a tiger just about 10 years back was almost impossible.
Oh, okay.
So then Kabini happened. Of course, the populations have gone up because of all the conservation efforts and all the crores and crores of rupees that government has pumped in and try to prevent poaching and other things. And of course, the charm of seeing a tiger is something very, very unique, and it really blows your mind away to look at a tiger walking at the majestic
Yeah.
grace and everything.
I've heard most of these wildlife photographers say you actually want to simmer in that moment. You want to be in the
Yeah.
moment rather than shooting. Most
Yeah.
of them would have forgotten,
Yeah.
to hit the record button, like you
Like
said.
us.
That's one, and of course we forget about all the settings and everything when you're trying to capture after seeing something like that happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's big. I used to have that problem, of course, with younger and faster hands and stuff like that.
Right.
He's much faster at doing all the settings changes, but
Right.
it's still a challenge for me.
So the tigers. And what about
Yeah.
you, rarest?
So I'll go very left field here.
Mhm.
There's a genus of snake called shield tail.
Okay.
Okay, and these shield tails are called, so rather not a genus, it's a family that has multiple genuses under it.
Okay.
So they are fossorial snakes. What does fossorial mean? They live under the ground most of the time.
Okay.
But they're also found by they're very sometimes you find them near the top soil level, and how you find them is by flipping rocks or by flipping logs and hoping that some of them are right underneath the rocks or logs.
Okay.
So there's one species of shield tail which is called, the scientific name is Rhinophis corinthundani.
Okay.
The common name is Corinthundans shield tail,
Okay.
which is found only in one or two hills around in Wayanad. Wayanad is a huge
Wayanad,
district,
okay.
and in that district, it's found in only one or two hills.
Okay.
And this was last year, again around July last year.
Sure.
We were on a trip to Wayanad,
Okay.
searching for reptiles and amphibians. And this was around our second night, so it was a 2-day, 3-night trip. And on our second night, all of us, we were going flipping rocks and logs, and we were searching for everything.
Okay.
And there was one patch which had a lot of rocks, so we were flipping rocks also. So one of the other guests, one of the other people on the photographers on the trip, he flipped a rock, and under that rock was something very, like you could see something shining, but a very small amount.
Okay.
Then the moment we realized that could be a shield tail, we started digging, and then we found it.
Wow.
And it was this Corinthundans shield tail.
Oh.
So yeah,
That's like very rare opportunity.
exactly.
right?
This is one of the rarest that I've seen.
Okay.
But yeah, there are also much more that
Of
I
course,
could
I
go into.
understand.
But this is what came right
Got it.
to the top of my mind.
Okay, now I have to go into this aspect because it's like you generally don't do a photography course, let's say, because it's a different bug that bites you, and then you get into the forest. Whereas a lot of people have not handled cameras, not handled gears and stuff like that, right? Correct
Yeah.
me if I'm wrong, okay? Now, how do you balance this technical precision with creativity in wildlife photography? Because I know taking pictures, because we try and take pictures on our phones and, we keep complaining, when friends take a selfie, it's like, what is this? This is not the way it is. It happens to me itself. My team here says, what, your head angle, your face, everything matters. And eventually when you see the product, it matters. So my question to you is that, how do you actually balance this technical precision with creativity? And I'll get to the next question later, but then your say on this. How do you balance?
Yeah, I think Dhruva should answer this.
Okay. So for me, I never learned photography through a course, as you said. I got his camera and he told me some things that he used to do.
Okay.
I used to initially just copy paste what he used to do, and then I realized that why not do something on my own. And for that, I just started experimenting with settings first. But what I used to do, I used to initially shoot in auto modes, like not full auto,
Got it.
but you have aperture priority and shutter priority modes where the camera sets all the settings for you and you set the aperture or the shutter speed. So the shutter speed is how fast the shutter clicks, whereas the aperture is how much of light does the lens let in, which is a decimal. So aperture is basically defined as the radius of the diameter of the opening of your lens, which is divided by the focal length. So let's say f 5.6 means that the diameter of the lens, the aperture diameter that is open, as in that's the amount of light that is entering the lens, is equal to my focal length divided by 5.6.
Got it.
So I'm shooting a 560 mm lens. My opening is 100 mm. It's like that.
That's how it
So,
works. So
yeah.
that's the precision balance you have to
Yeah,
do.
so that's how I started. I started with the semi-auto modes,
Got it.
and I would experiment with other settings.
Okay.
And then after a point, what advice I would give is, once you have a camera, just take it out and go into the field multiple times. And I had him to help me with getting my initial settings. But if you don't, just watch a few videos online from other wildlife photographers and get and try to get an idea of some basic starting point.
Got it.
Or I can even give that to you. You could probably start with aperture priority so that you control your depth of field. So another thing is depth of field that is important, which is how much of the subject or how much of the area is in focus. So the smaller the f-stop, which is the smaller the number, the wider your lens is open, because it's a reciprocal. And the wider your lens is open, also the narrower your depth of field. So as I mentioned earlier about getting a perfectly clear background, the smaller your f-stop, the easier it will be for you to get a clear background.
Got it.
So you can control that as well as the amount of light that enters, and then play around with your ISO and exposure compensation.
Okay.
So many people think that it is a higher ISO leads to a higher noise. That's actually not true.
Okay.
ISO is just digital amplification of the light that enters your sensor.
Okay.
So if there is no light entering your sensor, whether shooting at ISO 100 or ISO 1600, you still have a lot of noise.
Ah.
So play around with that.
Okay.
Try to find a point where you can balance both, ensuring that you can take good low light photos while also having enough light, enough amount of photons that enter your sensor, so your image is not compromised. And there is something called exposure compensation, which depends on the background. So just play around with that in the field and try to find out what setting works for you.
Right.
And then after that, once you kind of comfortable with shooting in aperture priority, start shooting in manual, where instead of controlling exposure compensation, you control that by either adjusting your ISO or aperture.
Wow.
Or shutter speed.
Okay.
What I do is I set my shutter speed and aperture as 1, because I know what kind of action I'm shooting, so how fast do I need the shutter to be, and I also know what depth of field that I want for the image, and I adjust my light using the ISO.
Wow. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, in fact, I vouch for his setting skills and all that pointers that he's mentioned. Do try it out on your camera, because why, I'll tell you. Because I've seen some of his photographs and they are brilliant. We will put some of those photographs up for you to see it as well. So, all right. You know what?
Sorry to interfere.
Yeah.
I just realized it runs in the gyms.
Oh.
I'm a professor, I teach, and I just heard your lecture from my for the first time.
There's always a first, ladies and gentlemen, that happens on this podcast. There you go.
I don't think I could have explained any of these parameters in the camera the way he did. So
There you go. It's all in the genes. All right, so having said that, now this question. Do you really believe, okay, both of you, do you really believe a powerful wildlife photo comes from patience, or does it come from skill? Which is it? Is it the skill of taking that picture, that powerful picture? Because every picture that you take ends up being powerful in some way or the other. So is it because of that patience, or is it because of that skill?
I guess it's both.
The mixture
We
of
need
both?
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need both.
How?
You may have the best. You may patiently wait until the event happens, whatever it is, a tiger crossing a road or
Okay.
a bird coming and perching in a particular spot or something.
Mhm.
And at that time, if your settings are wrong, or if you have done something else before, and usually the memory stays on in the camera settings, and if it is wrong, then you lost that moment. So it's a combination of both.
You agree with that?
100%. So you can have all the skills in the world. You can be the best photographer that you can be.
Okay.
But if you're not patient enough to wait, you're not going to get the shot. So wildlife isn't as simple as a portrait where you find a good location, you find a good background, you find good lighting, and you shoot.
Right.
You might have all these perfect settings in wildlife, but no subject. Or you might have a subject, and you're like, okay. So I'm again giving the example of birds because it's really easy to explain. So I might have let's say the same Malabar trogon sitting in a very good perch with nice soft golden hour lighting hitting it. And I'm like, okay, I have this. I know exactly what settings to put so that I get a good overall image, which is making sure the exposure is correct. When it's golden hour is generally a good rule of thumb to underexpose it a little bit. As in, you can do this while editing or while shooting, but make sure that if your overall image is slightly underexposed, it pops up the colors even more.
Okay.
And you can do all of that, and even set your apertures to make sure that you either have the entire the background in some detail to show habitat, or you can only be focused on the bird. But you shoot one shot and go. What if the next moment the female comes and you get two birds in one frame, but you've already moved on, or it flies to catch something and you could have got a flight shot as well.
Okay.
So patience definitely pays off.
Okay.
But you also need, so the same shot, now let's say I have patience. I'm waiting for it to fly and it does fly.
Okay.
But I'm shooting at 1/100th of a second. It's going to be blurred when it flies. So you also need skill. So it's a balance between skill and patience.
Oh, thankfully you agree to that. We are not going to have arguments.
Yeah.
Okay. But you know what? My last question on this technical
Right.
part is, what do you swear by? Do you swear by really expensive gear equipment, or do you actually swear by the pair of eyes that is behind the lens? Which one is it? Is it expensive gear or is it actually the person who's shooting it?
Again, both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
So you
The
do believe that.
logic is very simple.
Mhm.
The more expensive the gear, you are able to shoot at much faster. You can focus much faster, and adjust settings and everything happens much faster.
Because I'm trying to draw parallels. Because the other day I had software guys, software guests who had come on my
Right.
podcast. They're talking about AI. All right. So we had this debate: is it humans versus AI here, or is it humans with AI? Eventually, the verdict was like AI is like a supporting element. So here, I think what
Exactly.
he's trying to say was expensive gear does help and does support and makes your life easy, right? If I'm saying so, it's also I think Dhruva is like tempted to say, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not just the expensive gear; it's the person behind the lens shooting. Which one is it? Now, you agree with that?
So it's 60% the person behind and 40% the gear.
What? Okay,
So-
let me spark a debate here.
Yeah.
Is it? You agree with that ratio?
Well, I downgraded, as I said, from SLR to a point and shoot.
Okay.
And I am able to realize all the drawbacks of the point and shoot.
Ah.
So I'm at the other end of the spectrum because I've downgraded, and so
Okay.
I'm able to see a lot of loopholes in the point and shoot because I can't shoot at the same speed as what SLR
So the
could be
60-40
doing.
ratio is fine.
I would say maybe 50-50.
50-50. I was thinking, I was thinking of that 50-50
Right.
number is going to go. He's safe. You know what? That's what this generation does. Dhruva.
Yeah.
They want to be safe too, and they want to get their work done too. Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. See, now, you are not just wildlife photographers after 20 years, right? You have evolved to be also wildlife enthusiasts, and also you also strongly believe in protection, right, of
Yes.
wildlife, not just the animals found in the forest, but also the environment itself,
Exactly.
the forest itself, right? So my question to you both is, where do you actually draw the line between capturing the perfect shot? Because you do a lot of stuff in the wildlife, right? Capturing the perfect shot to disturbing wildlife. It could be the forest too, including the forest habitat too. So how do you draw that line?
Well, like any profession,
Mm-hmm.
it could be your profession, my profession, healthcare,
right.
everything we follow. I mean, there is some ethics
Correct.
for everything.
Right.
Even in wildlife photography, there is ethics,
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
and we have to follow that.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest places in Bangalore is the Hesarghatta, and in Hesarghatta Lake, by the side of the lake, there's a lot of grasslands.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And they used to have a lot of unique birds there, and there is a record of the great Indian bustard, which is almost an extinct species, found only in certain parts of Rajasthan.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a record of this bird being in Hesarghatta Lake area once it was recorded.
Like long back.
And now people at one point, now thankfully they have cordoned off all the entry points for four-wheel drives and cars and stuff. People used to just drive into the grasslands.
Oh.
And there are certain birds and animals that lay eggs on the ground.
Oh.
So you never know where the eggs are,
Eggs
and
are,
then
yeah.
you could be destroying a lot of things. You will destroy the grass and a lot of birds and tiny insects and stuff that might be crawling and things
Wow,
like that.
okay.
So
Mhm.
that's a very simple example I can give. It's the
Right.
same way when we get into the jungle, some people go out of the way to try to get the best shot possible and all that, and that has an effect on the entire environment and everything. So there, we basically have to follow the ethics of
Ethics.
photography,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that's very important.
Okay. Do you think, okay, now you'll end up see, most of these wildlife photographers who take this passion seriously at a very serious level. I know both of you have taken it to the next level, right? So how wildlife photography as such, as a passion, or as, somebody has taken it as a profession too, can influence conservation efforts? Does it
So the
contribute?
simplest thing is, of course, we are excited when we see something really big in terms of wildlife. Now we see a rare animal, a rare bird, whatever it is. In addition to taking those pictures, we should also be sensitive to what is happening around you.
Right.
For example, people, there is a lot of, especially if you go towards Bandipur and Masinagudi or Mudumalai forests, that is the way to go to Ooty.
Right.
So weekends are terrible in terms of traffic, and there's
Right.
traffic jam and everything. And then the other problem is that people throw plastic everywhere.
Ah. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have seen we were almost on the verge of clicking, but then a deer had picked up a plastic bag and it was in its mouth. By the
Oh.
time I could click the photograph, it dropped it.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there's nothing that can be done at that moment in time
Yeah.
because you cannot approach the animal.
Yeah,
to
you're
remove
not
the,
supposed
Exactly.
to. Yeah.
You're not supposed
No,
to.
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is
Mhm.
we are supposed to be sensitive to what is happening
Mhm.
around you.
Mhm.
In addition to taking the best shots of the jungle, you have to take these shots also and then put it in such a way that it can help people understand what we are trying to say.
Mhm.
And at the same time, if something lacks in the department side,
Mhm.
we can share the images
Correct,
with the
yes.
department
Yes, you
and
can.
sensitize them to
Mhm.
take more
Mhm.
action.
Mhm.
I've seen people, having a party in the middle of a national park. Let alone,
Wow. That's
smaller.
illegal, right?
That's illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's illegal and
Mhm.
things like that. And so these are the things that we need to sensitize.
So I think not just the wildlife photographers,
Yeah.
Right.
not just the wildlife enthusiasts. I think it's also the governments.
Yeah.
It's also those leaders who have to take certain initiatives, and I think you have to take certain measures in order to prevent these kind of stuff that's
Exactly.
happening.
yeah, and if you see something like that happening, take some evidence, take some
Correct,
shots
correct.
of those
Yeah.
also, so that you can
Yeah,
share it with
yeah.
the
And
concerned
then
authorities.
There are also other ways where photography helps conservation, maybe sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly.
Mhm.
So the best direct way is, again, let's take snakes.
Mhm.
A lot of snake awareness is happening now,
Mhm.
where people are using photographs to, like, as I mentioned earlier about the difference between a crate and a wolf snake.
Mhm.
The best way to show that difference is to take shots in such a way where you can clearly see the differences. So, like how I mentioned about hexagonal scales, that's quite hard to see with the naked eye unless you're really close. But I can take a macro shot of the scales and make
Right.
it really easy for people to see.
Right.
So you can do a lot of awareness, and this is just one example. There are many other ways where you can raise awareness about biodiversity, about the forest, using photos. You can also take photos that show the fragile balance of how the ecosystem is, which will kind of bring about a call to action, or at least make people more sympathetic and understand that this is how fine life is, and without them, we also can't live.
Wow.
So
okay.
you can take photos like that as well. And the other way photography helps is ecotourism. So a lot of people will pay a lot of money to the forest department in order to, like, let's take Bandipur again, for example. The safari cost, whether you go to JLR or whether you go to the forest department, comes about around roughly 2,000 per person.
Okay.
And that over time adds up into a lot of revenue for the forest department, which they can then use to help. I mean, how much of it is actually used to help conservation is,
Got it.
yeah, but they hopefully use a lot of that money to help, make the forest more secure, increase budget for anti-poaching,
Right.
and improve the biodiversity as a whole. And there is something called umbrella conservation. A tiger is an umbrella species for that matter.
Okay.
So if some forest is declared as a tiger reserve, it receives the maximum amount of protection. By protecting the tiger, you also end up protecting the entire area where the tiger is found. Just going to end up protecting all the lesser fauna as well, because that amount of forest remains untouched. People can't just go cut any tree they want because it's a tiger reserve. You can't do that.
Got it.
That's going to help a lot of birds that rely on that tree, or a lot of, let's say again, a lot of critters that live inside the tree, below the tree, all of that. So that concept of umbrella conservation is really useful because 90% of photographs still are of big cats. But in order to protect those big cats, you're also protecting everything else, which is good.
So I think, ladies and gentlemen, I must make a point here. Them being wildlife photographers and wildlife enthusiasts, they are doing their bit. They are doing their maximum efforts in order to conserve forests. I think all of us need to join hands and ensure that we protect the forest that we are, of course, going into. To shoot some of those amazing pictures of some endangered species, birds. I mean, they're living in their habitat. So I think it's our responsibility to ensure that we join hands and protect that environment. Well done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to enter this segment called Top 5. And I know it's going to be very difficult for both of you because I'm going to be asking them their top 5 best shots ever in the last 20 years. Is the most difficult question I know to ask any wildlife photographer to give me top 5. But I have top 5 pictures and I already have those top 5. They have managed to choose those top 5 pictures, taking 2 weeks of time because it's very hard to choose. And I will go with Dr. Murali first. All right. I will show his top 5 pictures. I will show these pictures to you as well. My question to you is that why did this picture make it to the top 5 on your list? I know it's a very difficult answer to do it. Okay. But I'm going to go with this one first. Is it Prince?
No, this is a very recent shot in Bandipur again.
Okay.
And when the tigers open their mouth, you get to know how big their canines are. And as a dentist, I can't but show a picture of the mouth open, And they don't happen that easily. Or
Do they get to do tooth canal as well? Root canal,
They have done it in Mysore Zoo, where some animals have been brought in if they have been injured or something. And
But those are
yes.
vets who can do
Yeah,
it.
I have a dentist friend who has been doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you
So,
covered.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
right.
this picture. Okay.
Right. Mhm.
So what is this picture all about?
Oh, this guy was an elephant who was right in front of us, and then he was trying to show off that he could charge at us anytime. Thankfully, it was a mock charge, but
Oh, they do mock charges as well.
Yeah.
oh
They,
yeah,
they play
most
along.
of the time it's a mock charge.
Acha.
Very rarely they really charge.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he was trying to show off his strength and his
Yeah, very
tusks,
handsome
the
guy.
tusks
Yeah, tusks
and
and-
everything. So it was beautiful. Yeah, it was a
Wow.
beautiful.
It's very nice to see elephants with their tusks on.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, and
Right? Awesome. What about this guy?
oh, that's a kingfisher, which is not a rare. I mean, it's not commonly seen. Again,
We all know
they-
kingfisher.
Yeah.
For a different reason.
So yeah, so I just wanted to show that kingfishers are really amazing in the jungle, and I got a very nice lighting for that. So
Yes.
and
This was taken in the dark?
this was during sunset time,
Sunset
but there
time,
was some light falling on the face, and
Okay.
we could darken the background a little while
Oh,
shooting.
okay.
So
Awesome.
that's made it beautiful.
What about these fellows?
Oh, this picture I selected not because of the quality of the image; it's pathetic. But the three langur monkeys were having a conference in the middle of the road,
Wow.
right in the jungle,
Wow.
and there was a small bit of a traffic jam. And when we went closer to it, they were making all kinds of faces, and they literally moved out. But why are they on the road? They have no business to be in the middle of the road having a conference.
We will put
The-
it across to them. We will.
Yeah.
So the next time they occupy
No,
the
the
conference room.
reason for that is
Uh-huh.
people are feeding the animals.
There you go. Yes.
The worst thing to do is to feed the animals.
Mhm.
If you have some contaminated food, you are going to cause some disease to the animals,
Right.
and you are making the animals come to the streets. And if there's one car or a KSRTC bus who is in a big hurry and he just rushes through the road,
Yeah.
chances are there could be road kills. There are a lot of road kills happening.
Yeah.
Even tigers are being killed, leopards are being killed,
Right.
let alone monkeys and deer and things like that.
Got it.
So never ever feed an animal,
A wild
especially
animal,
wild
can I say?
animal in a jungle.
Okay. Let's talk about these two guys as well.
Okay, this is a buffalo calf,
Mhm.
and what do you see in the face?
Yes, that's. I was thinking. Was it during COVID time? He's wearing a mask. For a second, I was like wondering what was it.
Well, I wish it were. Then
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was one of those things, I forget the name, where you catapult.
Catbird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like a Y-shaped catapult tied to the nose of the calf.
Reason being.
But this is shot in Orissa,
Oh.
Chilka Lake,
Okay.
and they are domesticated animals.
Okay.
And this is a way to prevent the mother from sucking its mother milk.
Oh,
The
okay.
calf from sucking onto the mother.
Oh, got it.
So the moment it pokes the mother's udders, which are very sensitive areas, it's really
then
going to either kick it out
kick it
or
out,
thing. And it also talks about the human greed.
Got it.
Here, one more thing I want to just create an awareness is
Yes, please.
when a new calf is born, cow,
Mhm.
you have this colostrum.
Mhm.
And that's a very what's a delicious dish that is sold
Oh.
specially for.
Is it illegal?
I won't say it's illegal. I mean, when it's a domestic thing, nothing becomes illegal.
Got it.
But that is a source of nutrition for the calf to develop, and you're depriving it for the mother from the calf, and then selling it to people, which I don't know. Ethically, it's very wrong.
Got it.
And my blood boils when I see colostrum being sold in the open.
Got it. It shouldn't happen.
So that's the
Okay.
reason I just thought I'll share that picture.
Okay, awesome. So that was
you.
the top 5 for you.
Mhm.
Okay, along with I think some some sort of information
Yeah.
that went out to people. Okay, Dhruva,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with you. Who's this guy?
Okay, so that's a collared kingfisher
Okay.
in Andaman.
Okay.
So again, speaking of kingfishers, that's another kingfisher. So
Okay.
this I feel one of the most beautiful kingfishers that's found in India.
Okay.
There is another one that is even more beautiful. I'd say it's called the Oriental dwarf kingfisher. I've still not seen one.
Okay.
Maybe next time, what was a long wait? That might be an answer.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, so this is the kingfisher sitting on dead corals.
Oh,
So like
do they usually do that?
no, I mean, yeah, they usually do that in islands like Andaman and even in Thailand. They're found like this, where they like to. This is again evening, golden hour. So
Okay.
the best times to shoot wildlife are either early morning or late evening because your light is very soft. So when you have soft light, you don't have harsh shadows. So the entire image looks very pleasing.
Wow.
And
Okay.
also the color of the light gives a really nice tone to your image.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
This is a Indian chameleon.
Okay.
That's, I really like the creativity of that picture.
Okay.
It's a black and white image that kind of just shows the outer silhouette that's backlit of the
It's also showing
chameleon.
the face of the chameleon.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
And it's also framed well by the two branches that are there.
So it's actually called Indian chameleon.
It's actually called Indian chameleon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. What about this guy?
So, okay, this is a king cobra. And king cobras are generally really shy of people. And you find one in the wild, it's most likely, you don't find a king cobra in the wild. It senses you much before and goes.
All right.
But thankfully, this fellow had probably just eaten a day before or something.
Okay.
So he wasn't too shy.
Right.
And he was nicely coiled up and sitting. So he let you go close and take good shots. So this was shot with a 50 lens
Acha. Okay.
at f1.8. So
There you go.
f1.8 is a really wide opening, which is why the background is so soft and diffused.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got it. What about this guy?
This
Prince?
is not
Ah,
Prince. This
okay.
is a female. It's called JD female from Bandipur,
Okay.
taken in January this year, 2025.
Mhm.
So we got a really good head-on sighting, but I liked this image because it shows some behavior. She just finished scent marking a tree and was walking towards us. So tigers scent mark. So they use scent marking as a form of chemical communication.
Okay.
As well as, males use it to primarily mark their territory. Females do that also, but also to give signals to other males or other females that smell it.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, this one.
And this is a southern birdwing, which is the largest butterfly in Asia, as well as Karnataka state butterfly, emerging from its cocoon.
Oh.
So the brownish thing that you see to the left of the butterfly, that's actually its cocoon that it was when it was after its caterpillar stage.
Wow.
So another importance of that image is it also in a way highlights the fragility of how a butterfly is, formed. So if something happens to the cocoon, we don't have that beautiful butterfly that comes out. And butterflies have something called host plants, where their caterpillars feed on only certain types of plants, and they form their cocoons on also one of those plants. So if we lose those plants, we lose the entire species of butterfly. This is the main reason why a lot of butterflies are decreasing really fast, because they're losing their host plants very fast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
These are some of the pictures that they have shot, ladies and gentlemen. You had a look at them beautifully, aren't they? All right. Now, the end of this podcast almost. We have just one set of questions, which is kind of my regular to do so. It's the rapid fire, okay? No hampers, okay? If you're anticipating hampers, no hampers. But then we're going to start with him, all right? Because I know he has to rush into the forest. I understand. Okay, so quick questions, quick answers, all right? Very straightforward. Let's see. Your rapid fire starts now, Dr. Murali. Is it the forest or the ocean? Which one?
Forest.
Okay. Birds or big cats?
Birds.
Okay. Daylight shots or golden eye magic?
Golden hour.
Okay. Macro lens or telephoto lens?
Telephoto.
Okay. Would you rather lose your camera or lose your memory cards?
Neither of them. Both are equally
Both
important.
are equally important. Okay. If you could only photograph one species for this entire lifetime, which one?
That's a tough
Yeah, there you
one. But
go.
I would say I have a love for this great Indian hornbills. I would still go for it.
Ah, okay. Most photogenic animal in your opinion as a
Tiger.
wildlife photographer?
Tiger.
Oh, okay. Most unpredictable animal to shoot ever? Be it for the most experienced guys to beginners.
That's a tough one.
Your time's ticking. You lose the hamper.
Ah.
Dhruva.
I don't know. Frankly, I don't know.
Okay. We'll put that on hold. Next time when I meet you, I'll know the answer.
Probably.
One animal you've always dreamed of photographing but haven't done it yet. He's not obliged, he or she.
I haven't been to a lion sanctuary yet, so that's in the cards. Yeah.
Okay. All right, last one. Night photography, is it thrilling or terrifying?
Thrilling.
Why?
You need to be there at the right time. You should have all the gears, the artificial light and everything, and you need to know all the settings about your camera. And there's that element of
So basically the entire
fear
universe has
and
to come
everything.
through.
Oh yeah,
to get that
yeah,
one
yeah,
shot.
exactly.
All right, that was an awesome rapid fire. All right, go to Dhruva now. All right. Would you choose perfect light or perfect subject?
Perfect light.
Oh, okay.
You can create a great image even without a perfect subject with perfect light.
Okay.
We rarely shoot humans. So,
It doesn't matter. Okay.
There is no perfect subject in wildlife.
Got
so
it.
that's why.
What's harder, patience or timing?
Timing.
Okay. Most challenging terrain? Is it the desert, is it the jungle or the mountains?
Mountains.
Okay. What's your favorite national park or wildlife reserve?
Bandipur.
Why?
memories.
Memories.
Yeah.
Okay. Name one gadget other than your camera, okay, that you can't live without in the wild.
A torch.
Other than your camera. Torch?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite wildlife documentary that you would want to suggest for people to watch as well?
It's out right now. You can watch it. It's called Nilgiris, a Shared Wilderness, which also talks about, the challenges between rich biodiverse forests as well as the ever increasing pressure from urban landscapes.
From Mr. Kadur.
Yeah, Sandesh Kadur.
Sandesh
And
Kadur.
we know most of the team also who worked on the.
Yeah, because I had one person who came in for another podcast. He was mentioning about it, and he said he recommended the very same documentary to
Right.
us to watch it. Okay, got it. Okay, so would you rather shoot solo or with a team?
Solo.
I made you think for a while.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? So you have more freedom, right? You don't have to worry about, giving time for the other person to shoot, which is also not a problem at all. But like you can spend more time with the subject and
Not bother about.
not bother
Oh,
about, yeah.
Okay, got it.
And also it's easier to spot stuff when you're alone than with a group.
Awesome. Which animal has the most personality on camera? Apart from tigers. You can't choose tigers. Your
Pit
dad has
vipers.
chosen. What?
Pit vipers.
Pit vipers. Okay. Right. Dream photography destination. Yeah. See, I got you somewhere. Google.
Himalayas.
You been there or not yet?
Not yet.
That's where you're
Yeah.
going to go next. All right. Last one. If not a photographer, what would you have been? Or rather, what would you be as well? Tomorrow morning you give up photography, which is not going to happen. It's what I see. What would you want to become? You're an engineer.
Researcher.
You're an engineer already.
Yeah, I'm an engineer already, but like
Researcher, wildlife researcher?
wildlife researcher.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the rapid fire for both Dr. Murali and his son Dhruva, wildlife photographers and conservationists, can I say?
Yeah.
And enthusiasts as well.
Yeah.
So that's the last part of the segment. And awesome, well done. Nobody gets the hamper though, but next time we'll ensure hampers are given out. But I'd like to, personally on behalf of White Pearl Studios, I'd like to thank you both for spending this time together and giving insights into wildlife. I know it's a vast subject. It's a huge, huge subject on its own. But then you have given a lot of insights, and I think our audience have learned a lot, have understood a lot about the wildlife and do's and don'ts and everything, all that. So White Pearl Studios, Niikhhil wants to thank you for being here. Dr. Murali, thank you to you, and Dhruva, thank you to you, and all the best for further sightings, further shootings and stuff. Any last words before you go from the podcast?
Yeah, I never thought I'll be part of a podcast, and especially talking about wildlife of all things.
Yeah.
Thank you for making it happen. Appreciate it, and I hope it's informative and gives some passion is derived from.
And I'm also hoping that either of you win awards nationally, internationally.
Right.
I hope I get to interview you guys first. Okay. Dhruva, last words.
Right. Yeah. Once again, thanks for the opportunity, and I hope what we spoke about, at least helped inspire someone out there, and also help, raise importance on how to do it ethically,
Okay.
as well as keeping conservation and preservation of the habitat also in mind while you're out doing something. And yeah, I just like to end with live and let live.
Okay. Oh, wow. What a statement, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the end of this podcast on wildlife. I can say wildlife. And this is Niikhhil Kumaar, your host for the day, signing off from this podcast. If you want to watch more podcasts, be it entertainment, be it edtech, be it about AI, be it about anything under the world, under the sun, under the umbrella, whatever you want to call it, it's White Pearl Studios. Go log in and check it out. For now, I think let's say bye-bye. Right? Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.